Like, man, you should have kicked that horse into high gear. Freaking Dracarys. What? Like, that doesn't make any freaking sense at all. He's an unhinged, ridiculous man. Well, hello. Welcome back to my channel. Joshana here to talk about episodes 9 and 10 of House of the Dragon. I didn't do one for episode 9 mostly because I had recorded one, but then I rambled. I was like half out of it this day that I was bulk filming. I didn't like how my thoughts were coming out, just very incoherent, more than usual. And also I unexpectedly had 3 videos already scheduled to go up that week and one had to go out that week. It was like an announcement, like press release type of thing. And I don't like to cram more than 3 videos in a week anymore. So I said, you know, we're just gonna scrap that and I'll do a combo like I did for 3 and 4. So I'll start obviously with episode 9. I feel like I don't have really that much to say as far as critical analysis of anything. Just kind of gonna go through my thoughts as per usual, but I feel like I have even less like analysis this time for this episode. I still hold to my belief that the misunderstanding thing with Alicent, misunderstanding his like deathbed mutterings, was just very much not needed. Otto and crew were gonna do this regardless, and there were plenty of other reasons for them to hold to Aegon should be king. Like valid in this time and per the rules, like if you believe that it just goes through the male line all the time and that the Great Council determined this, then like, yeah, it makes sense that you would think that he should be. And then of course with Alicent, like she already has a bunch of interpersonal reasons for wanting to kind of go against Rhaenyra at this point and like not wanting Rhaenyra to win, basically. She does not want Rhaenyra to keep getting like praise and to keep winning at life in her perspective. So I just still feel like it was unnecessary. I don't feel that it really added anything as far as like character complexity or anything like that, but it is what it is. As I've said to several people in the comments on the last video, it doesn't make me hate the show or anything. It's an adaptation. That's just my personal perspective on that thing that they did. I do not understand how in the flying fuck Criston Cole is allowed to continue living. I get that like in that scene when he kills Beesbury, which was he's just like unhinged. He's an unhinged, ridiculous man. And I get that Alicent is loyal to him, he's loyal to her. So I understand that she wouldn't be like off with his head or whatever. I also just fucking hate him, so there's that. I had one note here, Lord Casterling should have moved faster when he was trying to just mosey on out of the gates. I'm like, man, you should have kicked that horse into high gear as soon as those doors started opening. Ugh, bummer times. The scene with Alicent and Rhaenys, I just thought it was a good scene and like interesting conversation between the two of them. But the whole time I'm just like, Alicent, you're not that good at reading people though. If you thought for a second that Rhaenys was gonna side with you without talking to her husband, go against her. She is like Mrs. Stand By Your Man. And I don't know why you thought that. And also, you haven't been paying attention at all to her to like, oh, you should have been the queen. She doesn't care at this point. Like, you don't know her or you don't pay attention enough to like think you're gonna manipulate her with that. Like, as soon as she said that, I was like, Rhaenys doesn't give a shit. Like, we know this. You don't, and you think you're being real clever right now, and you're not. I was very kind of like confused, I guess, with Aegon's hiding place that Miss Arya put him in the frickin' sept, just like kicking it under like a, you know, table or statue thing or whatever. I don't know what you'd call it, but just hanging out under there and like clearly being loud enough that anyone could hear him. And she, like all the like mystery and we will tell you where he is if you do this and that and the other thing. Ooh, it's top secret. Oh my God, we've whisked him away. He's hidden, blah, going on and on and on about how well hidden he is and you'll never find him without me. And I'm like, anybody walking through the Sept of Baelor could have heard him. And he wasn't like chained in there. He could have just like walked out also. It just was kind of odd to me and like kind of lackluster little reveal of where he was And like no explanation for why he didn't just leave. He wanted to like run away. He could have just dipped and ran to the harbor and gotten on a ship like he said he wanted to. I don't know. It was just, thought it was kind of a stupid hiding place. Oh, the foot fetish scene. Like no kink shaming here. If you're into feet, great. Love that for you. It was just so weird because it felt so out of nowhere to me. Like, I mean, Laris has been portrayed as like kind of a creepy weirdo a little bit, just like standing off in the side, like smiling all strange and like being an oddball. But there was it's been many, many years at this point of him being in Alicent's pocket or vice versa or both, whatever. And there's been zero indication that there was anything going on between the two of them. So it just felt like out of nowhere. 0%, like no foreshadowing whatsoever, no hinting, no question. There was no like, are they doing something? Like the show had not shown us anything to make us think that. You know what I'm saying? Like none of the dialogue, none of the scenes we saw. So it just felt so randomly thrown in there, kind of like for shock value maybe. I don't know. It felt it's just random, I guess. And a little cheap, I suppose, of a way of being like, look, he's real weird. I mean, and it does show Alicent once again being the biggest hypocrite on the face of the planet, but that we already knew. That's well established. The scene with Aegon and Alicent in the litter on their way to the dragon pit, and he's like, yeah, whatever, Dad said I'm heir. Sure, he had 20 years to do it. Why didn't he? Like, whatever, Mom. And then she shows him the dagger, and he's all like, oh my God. And then she says, like, it is the truth. And he looks all, like, in awe and whatever. And I felt like that was random, too. I'm like, the way it was put, I think that it was just him being like, ooh, it's a little more real now. Here's the dagger that, like, the king holds, and, like, it's mine now. But the way I initially like watched it, it felt like they were saying like, this proves that it's the truth. Like the timing of what she said, like he's all in awe and she says, it is the truth. And then he's like, what? Oh my God. I was like, are they trying to say that like her having the dagger proves that it's the truth? What? Like that doesn't make any freaking sense at all. And I don't think that is what they were trying to do. It just was odd to me. Again, the choices and the timing of it like almost gave a different message than I think they were intending. And I just thought it was odd. I was like, what? Why are we trying to act like this? And I don't think they were, but I don't know. It was just weird. And then, yeah, I mean, we see Aegon getting some attention, some positive attention finally for like once in his life and being like, oh my gosh, wow. I just cannot fucking stand him though. Cause it's like, yeah, why do you think you should have gotten positive attention? You're an absolutely terrible person. You're like, annoying, first of all, and a dick and a literal rapist. Like, why? It's just one of those characters so entitled to like people's praise when you've done nothing to gain it. Like, what? And then he's just all like, ooh, yay, these random people that don't even know me. Like, just so stupid. He's so dumb. And yeah, he's gonna be a terrible king, I think, obviously. It's pretty clear. Thought it was pretty badass, Rhaenys popping up out of there. Obviously, like everyone, you know, part of me is like, just burn him. Just freaking Dracarys. But the show would be over very quickly then. I was like, at least Otto or something, or Kristen. Like, just one of them. Get one of these idiots out of here. If not, like, Aegon and Alicent and them, like, get Otto or Kristen out of here. But what reason would Rhaenys have for doing that, right? And like she said in the next episode, like, it wasn't her war to start or whatever. Which makes sense. And I saw some people like being upset that she killed all these innocent people or whatever, but I saw other people talking about it and lots of different conversations happening. And I agree with this, that it's like, yeah, obviously she doesn't care. Like, she's royalty. She was born into royalty. She was raised royalty. She was raised to be the heir and then got that taken away from her. But she's so wrapped up in all this stuff. Like, these people are not typically raised to really genuinely care all that much about the small folk. They're raised to care about themselves, their house, their legacy, all that stuff. So, I don't know, it makes sense to me that she would be like, I'm out for me and I gotta get the fuck out of here immediately. Fuck all these people. I don't really care. I just need to get. So, I don't know, I think it made sense. So that's episode 9. It was kind of a slower episode, I felt like. Oh no, I did have one more thing that I thought was a little odd. In the last episode, at the end of the supper, when Rhaenyra is like, I think we should go back to Dragonstone. I mean, it seems like it's pretty late. I mean, I guess I don't know when they would have supper, but it seems like it's pretty late in the day. And then the next episode, episode 9 here, is Viserys has died that night, right? And I just was like, they're gone already? Like, early in the morning, like Rhaenyra and Daemon and them are already gone back to Dragonstone. I know Dragonstone isn't that far, but like, I don't know, I'm like, isn't it a whole thing, a whole event to like pack up to leave when you weren't expecting to leave right then? I would think that it would at least have taken them into the next day to like get everything together, get the servants, get everything packed up, or unless they just like right then and there like grabbed everything and dipped, apparently. But I thought it was a little odd. I was like, wait, they should still be there, right? So the finale, I really liked it. Again, though, I feel like this whole season kind of has been just a build-up, right? It hasn't been as much action and whatnot. I thought it made sense that Daemon like jumped to the conclusion of Alicent killing Viserys. I mean, he just hates her. And when they were there visiting, he was like, oh, you're just drugging him up. And he's very suspicious of them and skeptical. So I thought that made sense. And my initial reaction to the scene where Daemon is choking Rhaenyra was that it felt like out of character for him regarding her specifically. Like, I just was like, I know he's a violent person, obviously, and like he killed his first wife or whatever, but I just felt like all we've seen of him is like how much he adores Rhaenyra and everything as far as his relationship with her. So I felt like he wouldn't do that, but then like thinking about it, I mean, number one, he is very violent, and it's like violent men, it's not like they're guaranteed to not be violent to their love interest just because they're violent with other people. Usually it ends up being both. But also, like, he was very distraught, and he is, we know, not the best at coping with his emotions. So it did kind of make sense that, like, Viserys just died. He's feeling very frustrated. He wants to be unleashed. And she's like reining him in and like, no, we're not just going to war. No, you're not going to kill Otto. We might bend the knee to them. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to hold peace for the realm and whatever. And then the allusion to, oh, my dad told me something that he never told you when you were heir. I think it was just all his frustration, like, boiling over and obviously coming out in an unacceptable way. But yeah, like I said, my initial thought was like, this feels out of character. But I was like, I think in a normal circumstance, he wouldn't do that. Like, I don't think that's something that happens regularly. Like, she seemed shocked too. I don't think that it was like, oh, here he goes again. She was like, holy shit, you know? So I guess it does kind of make sense for his character. I totally forgot that I knew that she had another baby, but I totally forgot that it was stillborn. So when that scene was happening, I was like, no, the baby's fine. The baby's fine. She has another kid. And then I was like, oh, wait, no. No, she doesn't. I was kind of bummed that they didn't include that she named, so when her mom was pregnant, and the scene where she was like, Rhaenyra has already decided that if it's a girl, she wants a sister named Visenya. And that she named her baby that she had that was a girl, Visenya. I'm like, oh, that would have been a nice little callback, a nice little touching moment. But they didn't include that. It's fine. It's whatever. And that scene was obviously really, like, brutal and, like, gruesome. Very, very sad. Very, very sad. I really liked, though, that they did show her, like, wrapping the baby herself and everything, like, what normally the sisters would do or whatever. Freaking, what's-his-face? Eric, whatever. He's the one with the A, right? Arryk. Anyway, for the fucking win with the crown. I love that she got Viserys's crown, that crown. That was really, really cool. And that music, that score in that scene, oh, I just love it so much. The scene at Storm's End, I thought that was so cool. The way they shot that to show exactly how large Vhagar was compared to Arrax. I thought that was so cool, that like over, like from underneath and then Vhagar flying over. Very, very cool scene. And in the book, obviously, like that scene happens, but the book is so, and I'll get into this in a second, it's like multiple people's accounts, it's hearsay, it's a little bit, some of it is fact of like this person literally was there and this is word for word what happened, but then there's a lot of stuff that happens where there's no witnesses, and so it's like, is this the truth? We don't know. Very just unreliable narrators throughout it. And so in the book, there's not the whole thing of like the dragons not listening. And I've seen a lot on Twitter. I had to mute a bunch of words from the show because I'm so sick of just all the hot takes and people like arguing, genuinely arguing and like calling each other horrible names, like fucking stupid ass idiots, like for having a different interpretation of something. I'm just like, calm down, jeez. But at any rate, I saw a lot of people being annoyed. When it leaked, also, that was fucking annoying. The episode 10 leaked and everybody just got on Twitter talking openly about it without any spoiler warnings. Yeah, people being upset, like, oh, so it's all just because the dragons don't listen, like, blah, blah. And I'm like, I feel like that makes sense, though. Like, that, there was setup for that. In episode 1, Viserys is talking about that. Like, the dragons are power, like, man never should have tried to wield, or whatever he says. We should have left it alone. The fact that we control the dragons is an illusion, and all of that. And then, I mean, later in Game of Thrones, the whole, like, a dragon is not a slave conversation or, like, line. And, yeah, I just think, and, I mean, yeah, in Game of Thrones, too, there's the scene where Dany is, like, trying to feed the dragons, and then she pets it, and Drogon, like, turns and snaps at her. And Jorah is like, yeah, they're wild animals. Like, you gotta be careful. So I don't know, I felt like it made sense, I guess. I agree, I saw some people saying that, like, oh, ruining Aemond as a character, because in the book, he just, like, runs around being bloodthirsty and whatever. And I don't know, I get if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. For me personally, I think it makes him slightly more, like, interesting as a character to not just be, like, bloodthirsty, kill everybody. Like, that's not a very interesting villain. Someone who literally just wants to murder everyone all the time, you know? I don't know. He wanted to fuck with Lucerys, obviously, and he wanted to injure him, clearly, but he was just stupid. Young, stupid, like, not realizing, oh shit, like, I literally could kill him right now. I'm on a fucking giant dragon. Maybe I should back off and stop fucking around. You know, so I don't know, I thought it made sense and it didn't bother me, I guess. And the final shot was obviously very cool, her turning to face the camera, all whatever. Reminded me of the Hunger Games. The end of, what, is it the end of Catching Fire? Yeah. With the zoom in on Jennifer Lawrence's face and she like goes from sadness to like angry, all crazy. And obviously it was a callback to the end of episode 1, which was also cool. And I'm just so excited for continuing seasons, but we have to wait so fucking long. Oh my God. I look like I'm crying, but I just keep sneezing all day today, and I'm like all stuffed up. Anyway, yeah, there's that. I keep seeing people also like asking like which season 1 was better, House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones. And I really can't say. It's kind of hard because like so much of the, oh my God, scenes in House of the Dragon, I remember, and I don't remember everything, but I do remember like the major things. I'm gonna try to just like not go look stuff up at all anymore to like remind myself like what happens. Like I'm just gonna let my curiosity exist because I kind of want to forget stuff. So I don't know. I still love Game of Thrones despite season 8 and like season 7. You know, for me personally, it had 6 really solid seasons and just like some of the most epic scenes ever. So I don't know if House of the Dragon will like surpass or not. I'm not sure. I think it'll definitely kind of hinder my, oh my God, it's so great, because of the fact that like I'm not going to be surprised by as much, I guess, which is kind of a bummer, you know? It is. That is all, though. Let me know what your thoughts were on episode 9 and 10. Do you think it was epic badassery? If you watched Game of Thrones, do you think that season 1 of House of the Dragon was far superior or not necessarily? As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.